Have you ever wondered why your keyboard isn't in alphabetical order? Why QWERTY sits on the top left row instead of A, B, C, D? You might think it was designed for efficiency, but the real reason is far stranger. In fact, it started with a typo. This is the quirky and fascinating story of how a mistake helped give us the QWERTY keyboard. To understand the QWERTY keyboard, we need to travel back to the 1860s, to a small workshop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where Christopher Latham Sholes, a printer, publisher, and inventor, was hard at work building the world's first practical typewriting machine. The early version of the typewriter was very different from what we use today. It looked more like a piano and printed letters on the underside of the page, making it impossible for users to see what they were typing in real time. Worse, the keys would often jam, especially when two were hit in quick succession. Sholes originally arranged the keys in alphabetical order. It made sense, it was easy to find the letters, and it was logical. But there was a big problem. Common letter pairings, like th, street, and er were placed close together, causing the machine's metal arms to clash and jam frequently. To solve this, Sholes began experimenting with new layouts. He tried to space out frequently used letters so that typing them wouldn't cause jams. The process was trial and error, no scientific algorithms, just rough adjustments and manual testing. That's where the typo moment came in. One version of his keyboard had QWERTY across the top left row, a strange choice, not driven by efficiency, but simply as a quick rearrangement to space out certain key combinations. Some say the layout wasn't even meant to be final, it was just a placeholder designed for demonstration. But when Remington & Sons, a firearms manufacturer turned typewriter company, agreed to mass-produce Sholes' machine in 1873, they used that version of the layout, the one with QWERTY. Why? Because they were in a hurry. Remington wanted to be first to market. They assumed the keyboard layout wasn't all that important, and since the QWERTY design seemed to work, they went with it. By the time people realized it wasn't the most logical layout, it was already too late. The Remington typewriter became a success, and typing schools across the country began teaching QWERTY. Secretaries, clerks, and writers learned it by muscle memory. Changing the layout after that would have meant retraining millions of users and retooling every typewriter on the market. Over the years, alternative layouts like Dvorak and Kolmak have been proposed, offering more ergonomic and efficient arrangements, but none have dethroned the original. The QWERTY keyboard, born out of mechanical frustration and a bit of rushed engineering, had already won the world. Today, we type on QWERTY not because it's the best, but because of habit, history, and a little happy accident. So the next time you reach for your keyboard and tap those familiar keys, remember, the layout wasn't planned by a panel of scientists. It came from a jammed machine, a rushed deadline, and a layout never meant to last. If this quirky tale of innovation and accident fascinated you, there's more where that came from. Subscribe to Fascinating Historical Facts for more surprising stories behind the things we use every day. Stay curious. Stay connected. Subscribe now.